of resistance in through here. So,
Yeah, I see it.
which is still
Yeah,
a little bit of an upside.
yeah. If it pulls back, well, we missed the entry like right
But if
at
you
the
look
bottom
over
of that
here,
box.
you look over here, you look here, you look here, you look there. I mean, there's a lot going on at that level. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens here.
Let's wait. Let's see the next candle forms. If it gives to the push up, my opinion, I would take the buy. Granted,
I think
it's
if it
only going to
pushes
maybe give
above,
you
I think if it
20
pushes above
pips.
this 33.5 ish, then no, that's my opinion. And then you look at this here, it's definitely got a nice
Yeah, it's got a nice upward.
divergence, right? On the what they call this, the stop, this, I can't pronounce that.
That's the 50 there in the middle.
Yeah.
There.
So when you hit the red band, that's oversold or overbought, and then that's oversold.
Overbought. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So
I'm going to take the buy
I'm
for
thinking it. I was about to say that.
I'm going to take the buy and
Yep.
let's see if I can get
All right.
the little
Well,
maybe
we'll see if
20
we can get a
pips.
bounce out of it. And
Are you
then
Yeah.
taking the bite
probably
now?
Taking a buy right now. Yeah.
I'd probably stop it off down here at the exit one. That's just me.
Yeah. At 33.30. Keep it kind of tight. And
If we
if
grab
you
a few
need
pips
to,
out of it.
yep, and move your stop loss up, you know.
So that's your TP 3330?
No,
No,
just stop loss.
33.30 stop loss.
Oh,
33.30
Yeah,
is your
this
stop
level.
loss.
We're right here at 33.32.7-ish currently. So, you could look for
Yeah.
that level or you could look for that level, but I don't know. I'm
Uh,
still somewhat undecided here. Is any other particular screen you want to look at?
But are you taking it too, Celeste?
um, Don, scroll down a little bit up to top so I can
Oh,
see the
yeah.
top, kind of.
Sure. Like so?
Maybe 33, 35. I'd just go maybe a little past exit 2 and see if we can get it. Because now I'm kind of concerned because now we got the green. We're
I
crossing
didn't.
down here at the bottom with the green. So I think it's going to pull back just a little, maybe to exit 1. Maybe I move my stop loss down, you know, to maybe a little bit past entry, right around maybe around entry,
Here.
up a little bit, maybe 28.
Yeah,
Because we
33.28 is
got
what I
in it,
was looking at.
yeah. If we got in at 30,
right.
What
let's
is the
see, I
red?
got in at 32, so
I got it
uh,
on
Well, you're right back.
33.
You're about back to break even.
So remember I was
Mhm.
telling you all I'm looking at 33.26. Let's
for the
watch.
stop loss,
Well, yeah. If you can hold, be mindful. All right.
Or this guy here.
And for profits, for me, I'm looking at 33.34 and 33.39.
So Celeste, you're about back in the blue, correct?
Yeah,
hang on,
I'm
let
in
me
the
see here.
blues
I'm
too.
trying to set my almost. I got in at 33, 32.93. So
Okay.
I'm almost in the blue.
So that candle just
Um,
closed and you're heading back up. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm close to it. I got it at 33.11.
I'm in the
Okay.
blue.
oh, there you go.
You're in the blue?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in those now. I'm in those, yeah.
I'm in the blue. Yeah, I'm in the blue. I'm gonna ride it to 35 and just see.
Yeah.
Ramon, you're taking it to 34 on your first one.
Well,
See, and we just
yeah,
got the diamond formation.
yeah, yeah, there's it. Mm-hmm.
So, and
Well,
down here at the
yeah.
bottom, you see we're going up again. Yeah, at the
Yeah.
bottom. And even here on the middle chart, John, you see the green is now crossed over on the red
Yeah.
again. So,
Yeah, there she goes.
Yeah. Did anyone
yeah.
else took the trade?
Who all took the
I
trade?
I
did.
took it.
You're in, Miss Marlene?
Yes.
Profits, we're in profits.
Okay.
I saw that coming.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
adjusting
we're about
my
to hit
TP.
34 right now.
So it's hitting 34. I just pushed it up to
I
35.
pushed this up. I pushed up mine to 35 as well.
I find it just sound like it's just a handful of person took the trade.
Yeah, I got in, but I
That's fine.
kind of
Yeah.
broke even and got out. So well, you got a few pips here if you got in at 32.
I took the trade as also.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Great. 34. Let's see if we can get at
Let's
35.
see. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. New candle's getting ready to form. What is it? Okay. New candle.
Yeah,
It
that was
just
a
needs to
pretty
make
much a
that little,
flat. That was a flat candle there. You can see it.
yeah. Yeah.
If it hits
Just need to,
35, I'm pushing up to 39.
There's your 35 right there in my white line.
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. So we got a little bit. I don't know.
Probably gonna get
Mm.
kicked
The
out.
volume down at the bottom showing pretty good though on the green.
There's that top wick of that last
Thank you,
candle,
John. That'll work.
which is at 33, 35.3.
310. Yeah.
Right.
There you go. Push it. Like that.
And we got the diamond there again. So the diamond's
one?
coming back.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
I'm
All
not
right.
seeing.
So they had a little
Oh, your
value.
diamond is there. You know,
The
but
little
why?
pullback, there it goes.
Yeah.
So if
But
you would have took it to the 34, I mean, you would have hit what
Yeah, you hit
3 minutes
it there.
ago. You would have hit
That
it.
was your TP.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Yeah.
still feel we're gonna get a
What's
35.
what's the next exit, John? Can you pull it down just a little?
36.
33, 39
36, 39.
on the 1 minute here. Yeah.
Well, on the 5 is 33, 36, and 33.40.
Okay.
Yeah, respectively.
On the 5 minute, you said?
On the 5 minute.
Okay.
Pretty close to what, if it hits the 35, I think it's gonna go to 39.
All right. So that candle just closed. We're at another 56 seconds. So you kind of had a engulfing.
Yeah, just a little flat right there. It
Volume
needs to
open
break
there.
above the box. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
needed.
Mm-hmm.
We need it to come above that box right there.
Oh, the box was
Which
the
it-
entry box, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
but we need it to
Yeah.
go
Oh,
close up
now, I
above.
don't know what this box is. Because your entry was down here.
Volume.
What is
I
it?
think it's moving.
I think that's with the fair value gap and the volume.
Mm,
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
see. I didn't draw it, but
I noticed the system does it for you.
okay.
Yeah.
which that's good.
Yeah.
Well, who wants to answer that question? So basically, you know, I could switch screens here.
Go ahead, switch
Okay.
screens. Get to a different screen.
All right,
That's
so let's
fine.
look at the kill shot just real quick. And so we see that the overall trend of gold is up, right? So the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and the 15 minute, it's above the trend and it's above the average on each of these intervals. So the momentum of the asset is upward. Okay, so to that end, when we're looking at trend wave, it gives us an entry, and so it gave us an entry here at 33. This is on the hour, so we're usually doing more of a scalp on these calls. So if I
Yeah.
look at a 5 minute time frame, you know, again, depending on when it created this long position, it called for an entry of 33.28 and an exit 1 and an exit 2. So you take profits, and then an invalidation or a stop loss down at 33.15.9, which I think is pretty big, you know, for getting in at this level. Because if you looked at that, it would be a you
Yeah,
know,
pull up give us a long
if you
tail,
got in
please.
if you got in here, you know, and got in there and took that, so it would say that your risk reward ratio would be 0.32, which is not great. So ideally, we're looking for a risk reward of 1 or greater. So
Yeah.
if this was my entry, and I was getting it. I was looking to, and by the way, we're at 33, 34.5 currently.
Great.
So you'd really want to try to get, you want to also look at the chart and see where some of these natural spots are where price is bounced off of. So you can kind of look at to see where that level would be. This point right here would be the most current low, right? So since we're in an upward trend, we would expect that if the market was to come back down, it would not create a new lower low. So that could be a good place for a stop loss. But again, we're targeting something, obviously above our entry. But if you get a position where you feel like you've locked in a good amount of profit, you go ahead and close your trade out, and you can get greedy all day. But if you find that you have a good profit, you go ahead and take it.
Yeah.
That's trading according to John.
Nice. Well said. Well said.
Yeah, you want more or less, you want a 1-to-1 ratio,
Right.
or a 1-to-2. 1-to-2 would
So if
be
you took
great.
it up, if we felt that we had this is an option.
John, move your entry up to we got in at what, 33.30, go to 33.32, right there. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right,
Okay.
and then move your move your
bring it
stop
to
loss up
here.
to there.
Right about to
Yeah.
there.
What is it? 33.30. No, put it at what, 28. Put it right at entry. Yeah.
30,
And
we just hit 33,
Yeah.
35.
There
okay,
you
so
go.
now you're at this is a 1-to-1 ratio right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's
so
how they
if you-
kind of have these things drawn, right?
Yep. And go ahead and move it up to TP2 or exit 3, since we got in late. So now you're at a
That would be that basically would be a 2-to-1 risk
ratio. Yep.
to reward, right?
Mhm.
With this center line being your entry. And it
And
looks
I
like
hit my TP.
we're right above, we're sitting here above that blue
So
line
I'm
there.
close
So
to my TP. I changed my stop
I
loss.
just
I
extended
take
mine.
profits here to 33, 36. So once
it looks like that 33, 36 is in sight here. So from my
I
perspective,
think I'm
it's definitely
gonna probably take profits there.
sure.
Yep,
And
and it's coming
know
up.
what happened to my
So what I just did, I extended to 33.39 and I adjust my stop loss.
yes,
So-
adjust your stop loss to where you're not going to lose any money at that point.
Awesome.
I did.
So at that point, if we got in
I'm
here,
playing devil's advocate with the remote.
That is what I'm doing. I'm adjusting my stop loss
so I mean, if you wanted to do that, you would move your stop loss up, to
to profit.
Right there.
to profit.
and then
And then-
at least you're at a break even.
Oh, I had a pullback.
So Celeste,
My stop loss, so I'm
is
good.
it that- why is it that I can't move my stop loss to break even or even higher?
Well,
what do
depending
you-
on how you're
what do you-
trading, you may
okay.
go ahead, Celeste.
What are you trading on?
On gold?
You're
No,
on
what's your
gold?
platform? Are you
No,
on
What
This
MT5?
on this trade, I couldn't do it. So I closed it at the profit.
Well, you were probably within the tolerance of your delta or your gosh dang it, what the broker charges you.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you're
So-
within that tolerance, they're not going to let you change your stop loss because it was too
Yeah,
high.
you would have
Your
to go up
spread.
higher.
You were within the tolerance of your spread. That's why you couldn't change the stop loss.
all right. Thank
Does
you.
that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Miss Sarah, are you using Axis?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Not yet.
So- No, okay. No, I didn't know if you were on Axis. Are you in Uniglobe then?
Yeah,
Or are
I
you
am.
in
Yes, on the
Quote?
Uniglobe.
Okay. Uniglobe, yeah. So if you didn't, then you wouldn't been able to probably with the spread. Because remember, you have to adjust for the spread. So then at that point, I would have left my stop loss where it was at.
Mhm.
Yeah, you took your TP. I'm assuming it hit your TP.
Yes.
Or else you could have moved your TP up a little.
Uh-huh.
And then once you move the TP up, then you would have been able to maybe move your stop loss up a little bit if the candle would have moved up more.
I
So-
thought about that and I did it. I moved my TP from 34 to 38. and
Right.
still can do it. So
Yeah, but what
maybe
was
next
the,
time you can allow me
yeah,
to.
well, yeah, but depending on what the stop loss was at too.
Uh-huh.
If you move stop loss up to entry, which was if you got in at the 33, 32, okay, or 33,
33.
and 33, okay, and what were you trying to move up where was the candle at when you were
I
trying to,
believe the stop loss was the same as you did, 22, 32,
28?
28. Yes.
Yeah, we were looking down here at a stop loss, or
Yeah.
we could have gone all the way down to that last entry.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is depending on where the candle was at the time, that would have
Sure.
been the only thing is on how many pip movement it was, because the brokers always, you gotta always remember the broker's gonna take their fee. So
Sure.
so you're gonna have to cover a little bit above what you think you should.
Well, that's why if you go ahead and set a take profit at a specific level,
Yep.
the price might bounce up to here, but then that's the delta between you and your broker. You'd get your full profit as opposed to, hitting the button and then it basically got subtracting out your
Yep.
your delta.
Yep, exactly.
Say that again.
So, okay. So for instance, when I go to buy gold on MT4,
Okay.
my spread, basically the difference between what the
Yeah.
market is about, let's see, it says 35 pips.
Okay.
35. Yeah. So if I hit the button at 0, I'm automatically down 35 pips, right? Because that's
Right. Yes.
and then so the market, the broker makes that on the buy in, on the sell, on the front end, on the back end of the transaction. So if I do, instead of me hitting, when I hit the button, right, when I just say close trade, I just get it as close as I can. Whereas if I lock in and I enter a take profit at 3336.061, the broker is going to accommodate, or it's going to compensate for that, and it's going to give me that price, but it's going to have to bounce up a bit for the broker to get their differential.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So every
Okay, so I
broker
understand.
situation has a little bit of a different, what they call
A little
spread,
bit further.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
and there are different terms, and so some accounts you kind of pay that on a per transaction basis, and you get a lower spread.
Yes.
And then others, are just the spreads are bigger, so it just depends. Everyone's account or everyone's broker is just a bit different. So when I used
That
to
is
use
what
Forex, I used to use
Mhm.
forex.com when I first started, and I couldn't figure out why I was losing money on every trade. And the spread was so dang big that finally I figured out that I needed a better broker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
So
the group. Go ahead.
okay, so you guys that are in the Caribbean and other places,
Mhm.
you guys, I'm assuming, are using Quo Markets for your broker, correct?
I'm going to flip
Okay.
over the one here and see what's going on.
Okay.
I'm not
Yeah,
too sure.
okay. Okay. All right. So
Well-
like for us here in the States, we can't use Quo Markets. If we want to trade gold, we have to use a
Mhm.
different broker because it's not allowed for us to use certain brokers,
Right.
So
Oh,
we
right.
have
Okay.
to
Unless
but
we
the
lie and
broker,
use a VPN.
yeah. Now when you are using access, if you're going through the funded, okay,
Right.
that's totally different. So like for us here in the States, if we're using access as the funded, we have to
Mhm.
put our VPN on. All right. If you're using some of the other ones, like I use Alpha and I use Atlas for my fundeds, I don't have to
Okay.
put a VPN on
Oh,
because they are actually
Oh.
those are here in the States.
okay.
So I can trade with those here in the States.
Well, in my
Uh,
Uniglobe account, I had to fund through crypto because I don't think it's
yeah.
a US based account.
Well, yeah, but most of them I see they like
I mean,
when I
I'm not
had
going to get a
forex.com,
Forex.
I
Not,
had
yeah, you have to
go
enter
ahead.
your SSN.
Yeah.
When I created my Uniglobe account, I don't think I'm going to get a 1099 or whatever you get at the end of the year from it.
No, no,
Right.
you won't because you
But-
funded it with crypto.
Right.
So
But Uniglobe, no VPN, correct?
no VPN.
Not for
Yeah.
us.
Not for us.
Okay,
And
great. So,
Uniglobal, pretty much they'll take almost everybody as from what I see. You know, there are a few countries that they won't accommodate to, but for majority they'll accommodate to pretty much
Just
anybody.
okay.
checking to
Well-
see where we're at here. We've still
Well,
got,
for example, what I was thinking, what I noticed over the weekend, especially for Exodus, the BTC and the Ethereum, the spreads are pretty high.
yeah, my
Yes.
Yes,
Bitcoin
there's-
spread is 83.16 currently. Now that also changes depending on the volume of the market.
Mm-hmm. True.
well,
So, yeah, that's
Volume
a
of the
pretty-
market and the time of day.
Correct,
And the
correct,
time of
correct.
day.
So
Yeah.
that's a
The
pretty big differential
Well,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
my spread currently is 28.16
on BTC
on BTC.
in
Yeah.
US dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the ETH, it's 15.24.
Oh, wow. Okay. So my ETH, the spread is 450, but I don't trade a lot of Ethereum. Sometimes I'll go off of a call out through the app, but
Yeah, but from the time I've been trading, I realize Exness is one of the best brokers thus far in the Caribbean.
good.
Yeah, in terms of spreads and
Well,
I've
that's good.
cleared a number of them. Yeah, so
Now, see,
I
I
don't know what
would
the best
go.
one is. I'll let you answer that, Celeste. You're a little bit more experienced than I am.
I would go either with, well, I like Uniglobe,
Same.
but depends on what you're going to trade. Okay. So, like, if you're trading any of the regular Forex pairs, you could get on forex.com. You
Yeah.
could get,
And you mean
let
like
me
the
see.
currencies, like the Japanese yen, US dollar.
Yeah, if you're
the
doing
the Euro
USD,
USD, right.
JPY, yeah. Any of those you can trade on forex.com. Any of those are US brokers, okay? But if you want to trade like gold and a lot of crypto, you cannot use
You cannot use
forex.com.
forex.com, correct.
You can't use forex.com. You can't use oh my gosh, what's the other
Wanda,
one?
no, you can't use
Wanda,
Binance.
yeah.
You can't use Binance.
Yep, you can't use any of those. So there's
We got a
few
red star
brokers.
here on the 1 minute here on the kill
It's pull,
shot.
yeah,
So
it's gonna pull
if
back a
you're,
little.
well,
Yep,
then there it goes past it. So there you
yep,
go.
it sure did. So
Shortwave is
on
still
some of
pushing.
the other,
We
go
are
It's
ahead.
still
coming
I'm
up,
sorry.
Raymond. It's coming up, Raymond.
Yeah, it's only
33.39.
39. I'm looking
It's
for
gonna
my
hit the
30.
39.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm adjusting my stop loss to about 33.35.
Who all took the second trade?
I got in. I got a little out of it.
Okay.
I
No,
stayed in.
I didn't take a
I
second.
never
I
left.
stayed in.
Okay.
Yeah, I never
All
left.
right.
Never left. Already.
Okay. Well, we basically then took one trade and one win tonight,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
wins
good with
again.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so Quintus, with the brokers here in the States, if you want to trade gold, if you want to trade any of the indices, if you want to trade any of the cryptocurrencies, you have to get a different broker. I use Uniglobe. There's also GNT. There's also Sway Markets. Sway Markets, though, is not on MetaTrader 5. They have their
That's
own
gonna be
platform
close to
that
my
they
stop
trade
loss.
from. So
It's just an interface. It's
Yep.
just basic. It's basically how you interface the market. So you enter your trading, you enter your broker information into MT5, but basically it's just how you interact with the market. So it's kind of like, it's a little confusing if you've never traded before, because you go sign up for a broker, you log onto their account, you fund it and everything, and then you're basically done with that until you're going to withdraw or add more money. You go into the MT5 and you enter that broker and your account information and you trade through there. So I don't know, I found that a little confusing when I first started trading.
yeah, because you can't go straight to the market and
It's not
trade.
like you when you like an Ameritrade account, if you got a 401k or a Roth, where you're going there and you're buying your asset. This is a little different.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Sway isn't Sway has been bought out by Liquid Charts, but being that we pretty much use everything here on MetaTrader 5, I would suggest doing like Uniglobe or um well, I pretty much would suggest Uniglobe. That way, if it comes back to where we can go ahead and get back in as far as doing tap to trade, because they're doing so many updates right now with the tap to trade. But I signed up originally. I signed up for the tap to trade and maybe used it one time because it's quicker and easier for me just to get on here and take my own trade. Number one, number two, with the educators and that they do live, they give call outs. So all you have to do is just go in and copy and paste their call outs.
Do
Okay.
you pay extra to sign up for tap and trade selects?
No, well, at first, when I first signed up with JIFU, it was $50 extra a month.
Yeah, I've never done it.
Yeah, and then when they went in and changed and updated,
Upgraded.
they stopped that, and
They don't have it anymore, correct?
They included
don't-
it?
it's all
Oh.
included now with
Yeah.
the
I
with the 185.
I
Okay, I
think
didn't.
I'm in it, and I have received I
There's a
received
pullback.
very few,
I can
and
never
Yeah.
get my Uniglobe to connect to it, Celeste.
Okay, so
You say something about you
When-
gotta change the password or something?
yeah, so when I did mine to connect, it took me a little bit.
We got a pullback
Um,
here if you're still in that
Yeah.
buy.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still in. We noticed that.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'm
just
still in it.
just
I
recognize,
recognize
but-
there's a pullback.
okay,
recognize you're in a
Yeah.
pullback
Honestly,
here.
now
Mhm.
I would take my profits and get out because you got that yellow candle right there and you got the big red arrow. It's going to go down for the sell. And you look at the bottom down here, you see the trend line, the
Mhm.
blue dashes and the red dashes. You're now going back into a sell, guys.
It's
Hate
on a
to say
downward,
it.
well, it's on a 1
Yep.
minute, so I mean,
Yeah.
don't get too carried away with, but at the same
No,
token,
but
the chart's saying that it's turning around, at least temporarily,
mhm,
on the
Yeah.
1 minute, right? I mean, if I look at 5,
go to
um,
5 and let's
yeah,
see.
if I'm looking at 5, it's showing that the trend is up, so
Yeah,
I'm-
but the volume here at you see where that red box is
we've got
right
it,
below.
we've just got the, whatever this is, the,
Divergence.
thank you, on the 5 minute,
It's
so.
going to make a change. Yeah.
So it might be
The
a little
trend's gonna
exhausted,
change.
you know.
But back to
still bullish
Uniglobe.
strong. And
This would have been a
Um,
good. This would have been a signal to get in a sell, but again,
Yeah.
I'm somewhat skittish on the 1 minute. It's been hasn't
don't
been
like-
super consistent for me. And again,
And
it's
trade-
counter trend. So
Mhm. I wouldn't take a counter trend. Oh, John, move the chart up. Let me see. Okay, so it's called for the sell. The entry would be up here at the 33.
again, this is a one. This is a
Yeah.
1 minute. So you have
Give
the
us a
plus.
5.
Okay.
Yeah. Give us the 5. Just curious to see.
So you have the
Thank you.
plus 3.
Yep.
But it's still on an upward trend on the 5 minute. So according to the education, you wouldn't get in until that turned red.
Yeah, because of you got the divergence coming. That's what
Yeah,
the
but
yellow
it's
D
still,
is
but
down
you
there.
haven't switched. I don't
No,
think
you
I
haven't.
can and
See
see
what
this,
time's
but
left on this candle. Because you got the gray candle, it's coming for the
we
red.
got
I took
425. So
profits.
good job.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just did that too. Yeah.
So according to this signal, again, you've got this plus 3 up here on the sell. This technically wouldn't become an entry until you see a red trend direction, the way I understand the training.
yep. The red candle with the
Right.
red arrow.
You have the red arrow, you got the little red arrow, but you don't have the
Yeah.
red trend direction.
I realize you all guys fall in love with it. Yeah.
You know what
I'm-
though? Today
Uh-huh.
I watched more of This is such an in-depth
I really,
scanner.
I would really like the scanner. That's just me, but you got to
Yeah.
find, but you can make money off of all of them. You just got to study what works for you
What you like,
then
yeah.
and be
Very
consistent.
true. Very
I've been
true.
I like
studying
kill
it.
shots
Trend wave.
and
Yeah,
golden era.
those are good scanners.
Yeah.
Kill shots and
Golden
golden
era.
era. I'm not too fond with trend waves.
Okay. Well,
All right,
again,
so
Wave is good too. It's good. But as I
golden
say,
era.
you use what works for
Yeah.
you. You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm trying to learn now is Sniper Pro.
Sure.
Yeah.
So go watch all his tutorials. And then if you haven't
Yes.
used it before, what he'll tell you in the tutorials is trade a demo account until your profitability is consistent and then switch to a
Mhm.
funded account.
And then switch to it after that.
Is
Yeah.
that a
Yeah.
trade?
I'm trying to learn Sniper Pro.
Celeste, is that a trade? You're looking at the screen now?
No, I wouldn't get in anything
Wait,
yet. We
You're
still
waiting
got,
for the red candle, huh?
Yeah. And
you
again,
are, yeah, you need to
Okay.
wait for the red candle and you need to wait down here at this is basically where the trend direction is. It needs to turn red first.
like this is
Okay.
right over here.
Right,
Yep.
right.
And you need to
That's-
wait for the red candle to come. I mean, we still got 2
This is
minutes.
a 5-minute chart. So
Yeah, and
if I
that's
flip
fine.
on the one, it's you
The
check
trend
the-
is now, the trend is now changed.
but it's
If you-
still pretty. It's still bumping up here against these Bollinger bands. So it's definitely over. It appears to be primed for somewhat of a reversal.
It is, yeah, because now you got the trend down here at the bottom, the trend direction
But I
has
switched to
gotten
the
red.
1 minute, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it's
But
hard
like
to
I
say.
said,
It's
you
hard
need
to say how much room it has on the downside. A lot of times it'll bounce off of this trend line too. So anyway,
Can I ask, with the
Go ahead.
gold, I don't know how that translates into USD as far as like the profit that you, like for where you
Oh.
got in at to where like the average person probably got out. Like I
do
don't
you
know.
want to talk about how to make
That translates
how you make yeah. So basically what you do is you have to figure out what your lot size is. Okay. So in order to calculate your lot size, you want to understand, like, let's say you had $1,000 account, and you only wanted to risk 1% of your account. If you had a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 1, this would be risking 1%. And so $10, if you were looking to risk $10, how many pips? Let's say you had how many pips is that?
10 pips.
So I usually start, depending on where you're at in terms of your trading journey, usually just starting with the micro lot, the 0.01 is a good place to start until you're profitable. And then, continuing to scale that up. But your lot size, and go in and look at the JIFU beginner training. It'll talk to you about lot sizes and such. But the lot size as a micro lot is 0.01. A mini lot would be 0.1 and a full lot would be 1. So the bigger the lot, the more you're risking per trade. And so to that end, if you make too big of a risk and you lose out on that, it could wipe your account out on your margin. So you definitely want to be mindful of good risk management in terms of, if this trade goes south completely, what is the maximum you're comfortable losing? And so you calculate that, and then you really don't want to create any bigger of a lot size that would allow you to lose any more than $10 in that hypothetical example. It might be a little confusing, but the lot size determines your profit.
What you just said made perfect sense.
Okay.
Well, I guess my curiosity there is like, so say for instance you put in $10, just like what the chart is showing right now, what we're looking at, and so let's say you got in where y'all got in, and then like the trend started to shift and you got out. Like I've done stocks, but I've never done forex, so
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what the profits actually look like. Just considering what we're actually looking at right now. Like if I had $10 there and I was going along. Like,
yeah, I don't know if somebody can somebody throw a trade result in the chat? I don't know if you're, if you're in the, I don't know if you're in the WhatsApp communities with us.
I am a visitor. I'm just
No.
getting
Okay.
on this today.
Yeah. So,
Very
so for instance, I could throw this in the, I don't know if I could throw this in the chat on this. I can't really throw this in the chat on this Zoom, but if I go back and look at my last trade, I had a lot size of 0.04 and I had an entry of 32.31 and an exit of 32.9. So that's what, 60 pips. I made $2.40, right? And so what I like to do, and this is just me, I use Chat GPT to help calculate my lot size. If I say, okay, if I'm looking for 100 pips, um, what lot size should I use? I do it that way. But once you make a few trades, you kind of get a sense for what your comfortability is. And again, if you're doing a scalp, you're really looking for a much smaller movement in price to take profit. Some of these position trades where, you're going to put a bigger stop loss because the price is going to fluctuate up and down, but you're looking for that ultimate position. You can make big profits, but you certainly have to take more risk in terms of that the price retracing back down, before it ultimately goes up and oscillates back up to its profit point. So, you could also look if you're not a member of the education, just go on YouTube and look for Forex trading basics, and it'll teach you about pips and lot sizes and that sort of thing. But those are really really the two things you need to learn about profitability is pips and lot size. But if you do join the platform, there's great education, and I'm not necessarily trying to sell that, but there's good education in terms of understanding the basics and some of the advanced things in terms of looking at the candles and what they mean as well.
Thank you.
I mean, a lot of that, there's nothing really proprietary on the JIFU other than it's nice training. But you can learn the basics pretty much at a lot of different places. So, like for instance, if you're looking at this candle here, you've got a pretty. So basically, this candle says that the price opened here and it closed here on that interval. So this is a 1 minute interval, and you see this wick, which means the price got up to that high and it dropped down to that low, but it opened here and closed there. On this next little candle, this was pretty much a point of indecision. So it basically opened and closed at the same place, but it dropped down and it went up. And so that really usually tells, especially if this, like this wick down here, it failed to push any further south. So, the next one was kind of a reversal candle. And so there's a lot of patterns we can look for in the candles themselves that, can be another indicator of where the price might go, and again, you're looking for a combination of the intervals, like what the trend direction is, where we're at in terms of the volume, whether it's really oversold or overbought, and these trends together really give us a good indication of what the market may do. There's no guarantees in the market, right? But we're looking for high probability setups.
True. Very true.
I'm going to have to stop sharing because I'm going to have to roll. So I don't know if somebody else wants to take over.
Or just confirm that this is so.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get the scanner up. So hold on.
Golden error confirm the sell on the 1
Golden
minute.
confirm a sell.
Yeah, on the 1 minute.
I would say between 500 and 1,000. 500 or 1,000 is reasonable to start with. .02, starting off with 0.02. With a more like, but still, again, with a 500, I still would play cautiously. You can use a 0.01, but if you want to be a little crafty, you can do a 0.02. But you still have to be cautious with every trade. Yeah. All right.
Depending on how much pips you move will determine what your profit is.
Mhm. Yeah. Again, yeah. So if you
Gain,
go up,
yeah, how much pips you lose or how much pips you gain is what determine your percentage on your profit, essentially.
well, what we
No,
can
Yeah,
tell you,
you don't
we
have to
guarantee.
have a 50 pip movement though in order to gain.
no, to gain.
Okay, so just like we're like a little bit ago, I did that little scalp. I got in at 3332.93, so almost at 3333, and I took it to 3335. So basically that was a 20 pip movement,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Even though the last number is what you, on gold, you go off the last number before the decimal point. All right. So my lot size is 0.1, but I'm trading a $10,000 account. Okay.
Yeah.
So on that trade that I just took, I made $20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
So
And,
actually $20.70. Okay.
and to add with what Celis is saying,
Going from
we
silver and golden
guaranteed
era.
at least a 15 pip with, I know with golden era, 90% of the time you get a 15 pip. Isn't that so,
Yeah.
Celis?
That's a
Yeah.
massive
So with
sell,
golden
man.
era, I'm going to pull it up right now. So this is one of the scanners. This is an easy scanner to go in and use.
Mhm.
Pull it up.
It is.
It's the most easiest, and it's direct. I trade on a $10,000 account. I had to go through a challenge. Okay. The challenge is I had to meet expectation of on this so-called $10,000 account. I had to make $800 profit first. I could not go into more than $300 day losses. Okay. After that, I couldn't go into a max loss of what they call your max loss of $500. Now I've passed that challenge. So now I'm trading an actual $10,000 live account. That is not my money. It's the firm's money. Okay. Whoever I use for my funded account, it's their money. All right. But it lets me go in and leverage them to trade for them, and they see that I can be a profitable trader for them because I've passed their challenge. So the challenge might cost you for a $10,000 account, say it costs you $100, might cost you $80, it might cost you $50. So, but now I go in and I use that $10,000 to trade with. Can I make my lot size bigger than 0.1? Yes, I can. Can I make
Yes.
more off of one trade than somebody that has $100 or $200 account? Yes. So of course, the more you have in a trading account, the better off you would be. So you can
Yes.
leverage more funds.
Leverage,
But
yeah.
that's the ultimate. You know.
But it's also the greater the loss and the greater the percentage.
Yes, exactly. So
Just
I
the
don't
same.
risk more than on my trades. I try not to risk more than 1%. My goal though for the day is I normally try and hit my goal of 3%. So I have a trading plan in place. So on $10,000 account, I want to make 3% for the day. So that's $300. When I make my $300, now that's either $300 win or $300 lose. I'm done for the day. And it take me 30 minutes. It could take me an hour, to make that $300. Just depends on what trades I'm in and how well the market's doing. So I could be in the market like last night. We took two trades in maybe it was 15 minutes. I
Yeah.
made
Yeah, right.
$178.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
made some cash, man.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last night we was a good night. You know,
Last night was like a
Yeah.
yeah. And
Tonight is
like
a good
tonight
night.
we took so-called one trade, but we've won that one trade. So
Yeah, I took one
you have
too.
to figure out, you know, how you want to have your trading journey go. If you want, if your goal is to make $500 a month on your trading platform and you only have a $50 account, it can be done. I took a $38 account and I made $800 in that 1 month. Was it difficult? Yeah, it was. I'm not going to say it wasn't. I was in the market constantly until I could get my money up some to be able to increase my lot size. So, but we do these live trading calls. I do a call. Caroline does 2 calls a day. Her with the fundeds. Okay, so there's different funded companies that you can go through if you want to do that. Okay, for the higher lot size, but then you have to pass the challenge first before you're given that. So basically, they give you, say you're doing a $10,000 funded account. Okay, you would take that $10,000 and you're trading it what they call is on a demo account at first. All right. So it might say, for example, you have to trade this account 4 days. You have to make $800. Okay, cool, no problem. So if you break that down, that comes out to be $200 a day. But let's be a little more realistic and say we're going to do even $150 a day. Okay. That could be, you could take 3 trades and make $150. Last night I took 2 trades, I made $178. All right. So we're just going to say you're going to make $150 a day. And in roughly what, 3 days? No, well, 5 days. We'll say 5 days. You
Yeah,
would
5 days you make it.
I'm sorry. No, okay. So the 2 trades that was on our call last night. I took the 2 trades, and I think between those two, it maybe took us what, not even 30 minutes, guys. Ramon, Kelvin,
Yeah, it was
what do you think?
less than an hour for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe it was like
way less
45
than an hour.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we got
maybe
on.
half an hour.
Yeah, we got on and we do a mindset book right now.
Yeah,
Normally on our call, so we'll go in. If we see a setup right away, we'll go in. We'll set up.
take it.
Put
Yeah, that's what we did last night.
We'll take the trade, and then like last night, I don't know, we weren't in the book, but what, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and I told Cheryl stop the book, and we
Yeah,
hit our
and we get
TP.
our TPs. Yeah,
Yep, and we took another trade right after that,
that also hit
and
TP.
yeah, and it hit TP. So, like I said, probably 30 minutes, and I made 178. Now everybody makes a different because it depends on their lot size, depends on their account as well. So, but
Yeah.
we'll just say on average, it might take you 5 days. Then once that 5 days is up, then they award you your $10,000. Now you can't go and withdraw that $10,000. That's your seed money, basically. Okay. Then you can go in and trade it, but you still have to trade it responsible, because even though you're trading a $10,000 account, you still have your parameters in place where you can't go into a loss more than $300 in a 24-hour period, or you can't go into a loss of more than $700 in a 24-hour period. It just depends on what their regulations are, you know. But then at the end of the week or the end of 2 weeks, whatever, you can go in and you can put in a request to withdraw your money. And up to the, anything over the 10,000, you could go in and request to withdraw. So say you made $1,500 last week, you could go in and put in a request to withdraw it. It normally takes about 24 hours to get your withdrawal. I would say that's the max. Some of them are quicker, you know, but this is an example of how funded kind of works. Okay. It gives you a bigger leverage, a bigger lot size that you can trade at, and you can make more money than just say on a $200 account. Okay. And I've been trading $10,000 account now for what, 2 years, huh, Zelma? I've been trading a $10,000 account. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't, I have money in a live account, but I very seldomly will go in and trade my live account. I'll trade the funded more than anything because I have more money there to leverage. So any other questions, guys? Are you guys still there? Oh,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
okay,
I'm
good.
listening.
Well, no,
We're
because
just listening.
my internet, was acting stupid earlier, so
Yeah, we heard everything. You and
okay,
John
good.
are the teachers, installing knowledge.
No, it just, it just comes a lot. Like I said, it's once you get in and you start in the market and that, it's at first it's almost like I'm going to say this and I don't mean this to sound horrible, but it's almost like a drug. You get addicted to it. But you do not
That's very
want
true. You
to
have to
have
take
you don't want to have
this
that FOMO feeling either, that you're going to fear you're going to miss out on a trade. That's what the FOMO stands for, fear of missing out. Because you know what? There's plenty of trades out there. There's trades constantly, you know. So you don't have to feel like oh man, I missed that trade. And there's always another one right around the corner. Don't feel like you're going to miss out, you know. But this scanner right here, if it was me getting back in again, I would learn this scanner first. This is the most easiest scanner to use, and it's going to give you your 15 to 30 pips constantly. This gave the 30 pips. Once this white flag shows here, the trade's played out. It's done. And then it's going to go in and search for another setup. Okay. This
Like it's
scanner is
gonna search
designed.
for a buy.
I'm sorry, say again.
So it looked like it's gonna search for a buy. Just looking at
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's on the 1 minute.
Inside
Okay,
with
so the 1 minute hasn't played out yet. If you see that. So it's still
while you all was talking, I took this cell and I entered at 33, and it hit my TP and I was in profit.
good. Congrats, Miss Marlene. Okay, Miss Marlene, what
Yeah.
is your
She
what
sounds
is
so
your lot
excited.
size? Yeah, what is your lot size?
My lot size was 0.01.
Okay. And you got
So
in at what did you enter at?
33.
33, 32, 30, 33, 33. And what did you take it to?
33, 38.
38?
28.
Oh, she did a sell.
33.
Yeah, they dissolved.
Okay, you took it to 33.28, so you got 50
Yeah.
pips.
Yeah.
Miss Marlene, would you please share on how much you made on that trade?
On that trade, that's all. Hold on. I made $5.34.
Okay. All right. And that's okay. So that shows you that's on an account with 0.01 lot size.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. And she made
Well,
$5.28.
Yep.
So that's good for that
Yeah.
for that account size.